And this next fight, we got Zha Yi taking on Jeong Yeong Lee, and this is another Road to UFC tournament final. And this is a good one. I like both these guys. It's kind of a young gun, and Jeong Yeong Lee taking on an established veteran in Zha Yi. But the thing about it is Zha Yi, even though he has 24 fights, Lee has 10 fights. He's actually younger than Jeong Yeong Lee, 26 to 27, so it's not a big difference. Both these guys are approaching their primes, but Jeong Lee, great athlete, super entertaining. He definitely brings the action. He goes for the finishes. In the Road to UFC tournament so far, he's gotten 2 really fast finishes. And his style is reckless, but he tends to get the job done. He pressures forward, hands pretty low. He looks to back his opponents up, and he stands right in front of him. And he will be kind of low volume if fighters don't throw first at him, but he uses the jab, some leg kicks, and tries to feint, draw a lot of attacks. And from there, he'll counter with big 1-2s, 3-2s, body hooks, uppercuts, knees up the middle, and he's super fast, super sharp, accurate. He has big power, so he can make a lot of fighters hesitant to throw, not want to exchange with him. And he's hittable himself. He just sits in the pocket and he invites exchanges, gets in a war, so he can get clipped at times, and I've seen him wobbled and dropped, but super tough. And when he gets stunned, he just bites on his mouthpiece and tries to get it back, and he has good cardio, and he tends to kind of get tired and get second wins and break guys. That's what I saw in a couple of his decisions. But he is someone that's, just really hard to get out of there, so brawling with him and is just not smart. You have to be tactical against him on the feet. And he stands tall, so his takedown defense is a little bit questionable, Jeong Lee's. I've seen him get put on his back in a few fights pretty easily. He is explosive. He's hard to hold down early. Nice armbar attacks. We saw him hit that armbar really early against Ben Ji in their Road to UFC tournament fight, but in this fight, he's going to be facing one of, if not the best grappler and wrestler that he's ever fought. And that's something that he most definitely will need to be cognizant of in this fight. Can't go wild. And I've yet to see a fight where someone hasn't been able to really just blanket Lee for rounds or get in dominant positions against him on the ground. So Lee is going to be trying to sprawl and brawl. So we're going to kind of see how that plays out. For Zha Yi, very experienced guy. Like I said, 21-3. And that's a tremendous record. And a lot of his wins haven't been against the best competition, but he's garnered a lot of ring time. And he's more of a grappler, but he's well-rounded as well. And on the feet, he's fast, good in and out. He has nice patience. And that's going to be key against Lee. He has to use his footwork to pull Lee into his jabs, his counter crosses, and then ultimately his takedowns. And he has nice front kicks, round kicks. Sometimes he doesn't really set his kicks up the greatest, so I would try to use punches mainly in this fight to avoid getting countered. And he can't get in a firefight or stand in front of Lee at all. He has to be always, moving on the outside or on the inside. And he usually does that. He fights smart on the feet. And he's a good wrestler and grappler. Good timing on his level changes. Good clinch takedowns. On top, he has good back takes. His rear naked chokes are on point. His last fight, he was facing a really good grappler. And they exchanged position for a lot of the fight. But he was able to be the more dominant guy. And he should be dangerous and active on bottom as well in that fight. He got really close to getting a triangle. And his get-up game, his scrambling ability is really, really good. He has great cardio in that department as well. He pushes a hard pace to keep. And if he can get his wrestling and grappling game going in this fight, then he has a great chance to pull the upset. And to me, this is a close fight because Zha Yi is a difficult style matchup for Lee. Lee's a really big, tantalizing fighter because he has that power, sniping ability, his aggression and capability to take damage, to give damage, really makes him stand out. But I think he's going to struggle with Yi constantly moving on the feet. And I think that, Zha Yi is going to be able to land some counters and then get some takedowns as well. And I think he can get the job done here. So I feel like it's going to be a close decision. I think Zha Yi is going to be able to maintain his gas tank better because I think he's going to force some grappling exchanges. I think he's going to get some top control time. And I think as the fight goes on, he's going to start to even do better on the feet as well. Maybe not be able to outstrike Lee for long periods of time, but I think he'll be able to make it much more close and then ultimately get the takedowns and get the victory here. So I got to go with Zha Yi here. I'm going to pick him to get the upset, and I'm going to pick him to win via decision.